How's it going, everyone? We're about to look a quick recap of how do we get here, and in today's video, WebSockets. Eulero Gonzalez here. This is a course made by Yifni Ray, software engineer that previously worked at JetBrains. So shout out to Yifni completely. Software engineer that previously worked at JetBrains over 3 years, and now he's currently the UI staff engineer at Meta. So the goal of this particular course is to know what are the fundamentals required for UI specialists when it comes to build web large scalable applications, right? So because of that, this is the way of how now Ifni organize this course. And I think this is something important, especially when you need to make sense of something. A lot of the time you will get it through stories, and that's one of the reasons why storytelling, especially in marketing, is so compelling and is so in demand in any company, because not only is the ability to persuade someone, but also give some background as a way to let that happen. And that is, there's a very interesting book, which is something that I would like to read. That is the I think this is the Challenger, Challenger book, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. Let me actually make a quick search about that. Yeah, let me make a quick recap about that. How did you put it? Sending basics. Giving Samuel books recommendations. Okay. Jesus. Yeah, I'm gonna make this connection here. This fit. Is this one. Can I look at my histories here? Oh. I don't have that one. That's right. That was fast. That was fast, bro. That was fast, bro. I think it's here.
Yep. Here, actually, you know what? I gotta.
Show is based on. You can. I don't begrudge you wanting what you want. Well, are you an 8, 9, and 10? Well, actually, an adjustable 6, 8, or 9 in the looks, and are you an 8, 9, or 10 in the body? If not, I actually had to repress that to go to school and other kind. Excuse me. Office products for a moment to kind of just stabilize things.
We got a couple super chats. We'll read them real quick, and then we'll get right back into it, guys. Obviously, as you can see, this is gonna be a good interview. We got. Excuse me. But until you can go out and drum up new business, make business, you're not really in business. Yeah, yeah. If you're not making money, then quite frankly, it's a hobby. You know what I mean? It's not a business.
That's it.
So I'll say this because
It's together.
Yep.
They want to check out your prices, check out that if you still use it. If you go to Instagram, it used to be if you had 5,000 friends, if you made a post, you would go to all 5,000.
Yep.
Facebook automatically thought it back and said, no, we're only going to send it out to 10%. And if you want to reach those other 10%, and because at the end of the day, it's about outcomes. And when I held my men's event at MIT, I told guys 2 things. Guys, life happens out there and life is about people. Ladies have forgotten that men have a want and a desire in this thing. And that's what a lot of ladies are finally starting to understand, and it's working for them. So value in general starts, and must recognize you as their peer. People, it needs to be visible to where people can kind of understand it. You have a Phantom, great, but if it's in the garage all the time, do you really have a Phantom? Does it really matter?
you have a dust collector.
How you talk? Or I talked about high value. I talked about showing your work, and high invest all that energy into something. We have
A couple super chats here.
Thank you, brother. That was powerful, man.
person. I ask him, what's your underlying sales philosophy? Because you have to go to school for this stuff. But Sandler, Sandler, is a standalone training that's available pretty much across the country, and it works for a multitude of industries. So,
bam! For all the people out there that say, "Oh, Kevin's a fraud, I don't know nothing about sales," I just broke it down for you guys right there.
Yep.
Mr. Dump Your Boyfriend 305. He put his Instagram at Mr. Dump Your
Mr. Dump.
Boyfriend.
Yep.
Mr. Dump Your Boyfriend 305.
Mr. Dumpster.
He put his Instagram at Mr. Dump Your Boyfriend 305. Okay, I guess you're local in Miami. Shout out to you. Cut a lot of friends off. They're wasting friend 305. Okay, I guess you're local in Miami. Shout out to you. Cut a lot of friends off. They're wasting my time. Jason Bernardino with the $5 super chat. Thank you for that.
And a new one just came in. TJ Limore.
Yeah, my 2 favorite channels collide. Shout out to y'all for consistently making dope content. Thank
Making
you so
dope
much,
content.
man. We're happy to have Kevin here.
Yeah,
guys, we got
my 2 favorite
600
channels
and
collide.
67
Wow.
live viewers
Yep.
watching this right now.
Yep.
Like the video, guys. Push us in the
consistently making
algorithm
content,
because we're out here
making
spitting
dope
facts, and we are not Derek Jackson. So with that, so
Making dope. This is making awesome content. Making great. Making dope content.
oh guys, like the video, push the algorithm.
How many people you guys have?
That's awesome.
Is this a record, guys?
It is, because
Team?
we've had like 500, I think, the most.
Yep.
When we start talking about pushing and become the best version of yourself and increasing your value, increasing, improving, it holds a mirror up. We don't intentionally do it, but it holds a mirror up.
Yep.
It's like if you've ever taken your shirt off around someone who's out of shape and you're in shape and they'll suck
Yeah.
your gut in. You're not doing it on purpose, and you just kind of let it go. That's why I don't respond back and forth, because most people want to drag you down to their level and then try to kick your ass with experience. You got it. You won. You're
Yeah.
right. I don't. Good.
Yeah, man. Because when you're showing excellence, like you're shining a spotlight on their deficiencies, and human beings don't like to be held accountable a lot of the
No,
time
human
for
beings
being
don't like to
inferior to some
actually,
degree.
not
So they're
only
going to typically respond with, oh, you're with hate or some kind of toxic stuff. Go
Again,
ahead, Fresh.
because
You
it
got some?
exposes
Yeah, I like how
some
Kevin
of the
doesn't like
natures
waste
in
energy
our
on things that don't
self.
benefit him or
And
make
part
him
of
want to
the
like
nature is to
succeed more.
value.
If it's gonna take his energy,
There is
nah, I'm
something
good.
that we know
You can
that
have
we
fun talking to yourself.
appreciate, we
ultimately
value,
it's
but we
not really
shouldn't be able
they're
to
really
do
not they don't know me,
or
number
they
one.
don't
Number
want
two,
to do that.
it's
We
not
don't
really
want to
valid.
do that.
If you
You know,
sat
because
down
it's
with
too
me, you
hard,
know
and we
that
are
I
not
know what I'm
hardwired
talking about.
to do hard things.
To the degree I'm talking.
Similar to, we are not trust-seeking machines. And it's interesting because the more you push the boundaries, or the more you want us to actually self-improve, not for the self of self-improving itself, it's because you started to realize that you only got one life. You're starting to make all of these connections with all of these philosophers, personal trainer, content, academics. You know, so the first moment that you really start to realize, the first moment that you really realize that you have only one life, as Sun Tzu says, is that when you decide to actually act accordingly, act upon that. And that's why I'm looking right now here at this particular thing, you know.
Didn't make it, guys. Don't shoot the messenger. And you need to make that money over a certain length of time, guys. You know anybody can have a good year.
Yep.
Anybody? Jeremy Lin had a couple of good games. He's not going to the Hall of Fame. work, and your value will ultimately show. Case in point, people who don't like me,
Yeah.
and when they were, we're going to expose them and talk about this and that, and I just kept on moving.
Yep.
I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to beef. I'm not
I'm gonna be
acting kind of in a poor way. And I said, look, I disagree. It's going to be respectful.
No, I'm
Yep.
looking
And
for the
that's
sales
it.
skills.
For sure.
I prefer to live my life this way because I believe in drawing to you.
With which you invested $15K in developing your sales skills. I don't know if you want to answer that and give the secret sauce. But
Oh yeah. One of the companies was called Sandler Training. On training.
thank you so much, man.
Look, if I didn't know what I was talking, because I know what I believe and why I believe it. I don't have to convince you.
Yeah.
And we just move, but it also, you know that you are and I aren't ever going to get in a beef, even if we disagree. It's going.
If you want to get into it, the biggest difference between someone like yourself versus someone like Derek Jackson telling these girls what they want to hear.
Okay, let me relate it back to business.
Yeah, let's go.
In sales, if you're in a salesperson, there's a book called The Challenger Sale.
There you go. That's all. The challenge yourself. All right. There's a book called The Challenge Yourself.
Pick it up, read it.
Pick it up.
Challenger Sales states that there are 5 different kind of salesperson: relational salesperson, lone wolf, hard worker, somebody else, and a challenger. And consistently, in bull markets or bear
Bull
markets,
markets.
and up markets or down markets, regardless as the industry or whatever, there's one kind of salesperson that continues to outperform all the others. And it's called the challenger. The challenger comes into the sales environment above the prospect. Now, let's imagine you guys had a multi-million-dollar business, and I'm trying to sell you guys my advertising.
Yeah.
Most people are gonna come in here and, hey man, like your jacket. Hey buddy, what's yourself for a bottle? Hey, take you out up to the strip club. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna actually sit up higher, because I'm gonna learn enough about you to consult you and say, I understand last year you lost this deal to your competitor. So it's the consultative sales approach of a challenger, and a challenger salesperson does 3 things in any process. They teach, they tailor, and they take control.
This
So when
is
I'm talking to
something
women,
that I
I'm
just
teaching.
wanted to bring that up, right? why this is important, why do I want to bring this up, right? The challenge yourself from this gaming sample, this image consulting as a way to now is talk in the sense of the UI developers and how now we are not separate from the business people, the marketing and that kind of thing. Since we, after all, as engineers, we're very good at building things in a very systematic way, which is a great thing. However, when it comes to actually explain to others in simple terms, we actually fail miserably. Because, again, I'm not speaking for all of engineering. I'm not an engineer. I'm just working as an engineer. That's different. As a software engineer. So what I can observe is that when I look at all of this, my peers in college, right, is that especially on the academy or in companies, is that great, good. A lot of them, they are good at what they're doing, but also they need these complementary skills, which is how you're going to now express this idea in simple terms, how you're going to make that complexity meaningful, not only to yourself, but also to others. Because it's in there that you're going to now sell your idea. It's now that your idea will be implemented based on your approach, based on your experience and expertise. Why, again, why this is important? It is since if you're going to dedicate time to be a UI specialist, and you want to now understand how all of these things work, and if you want to provide these solutions to other companies, one of the things of this challenger, which is something that I would like to also mention on the comment section, the challenger is that, and also I can, and also let me actually save this as it is. Can I actually save in the proper? I'm not sure if I can save that, but in any case, yeah. So, is this that if you're going to sell your idea or your solutions, which is at the end of the day, that's what we are going to do. That's the reason of why we now exchange or do business, which is exchange of value. Is that good that you know all of this kind of thing? Great, which is something that we're going to talk about here on the web application performance. In the network connectivity with WebSockets. But the idea here is that how important it is for you to now improve your communication skills, because this is something that is required, is demand, the markets, the people actually need that. Okay, so as a way to now be able to describe all of these concepts in a very succinct manner, now it is time to put at practice on all of this. So the TLDR of this is that in any markets, as a way for the salespeople, in any market, there are a book called The Challenger Sales that explain now what are the 5 types of sales, what are the 5 type of salesperson. Okay, so you got the relationship, the long wall, the hard works, something that I don't remember, and the challenger. And in all markets, bear or bull markets, consistently there is one salesperson that outperforms the other. And especially here now in this era where we are now building more and more complex products that it requires a lot of inner mechanism, and they're using a lot of this previous tool as a way to now provide some sort of solutions or that satisfies some needs or an opportunity, right? Which is something that VC founders or angel. Yeah, is this is why now. Sorry. Angel founders that where they have accumulated certain amount of money, they're doing is that yes, all right, now that I have this amount, now that I have this fund, right, and I want to make my money work. And that is by, well, investing in someone else's ideas. All right. So in the case of these sellers, where the point of this challenging is to not only understand what is all of this inner mechanism of these products and the dynamics, but also identify where is the needs or the opportunity that offer to venture capitalists or to companies, right? And this is something comes from this intrinsic value that this particular settled person has to actually is now provide this. So not only by teaching about that thing, but also tailor the content and they take control. So in any case, because in today's video we're gonna look is at WebSocket, okay, and let's get into this. A quick tangent of talking about is the salesperson or the sales, and I think this is a very good tangent to talk about that. So yeah, let's get into this. Okay. So yeah, we're gonna talk about is this WebSocket, which is this. So well, WebSocket is this two-directional interactive communications. I just want to because I already saw this particular course, and I want to make a quick recap of what is the topics that if need rate mention and describe when you're writing is this kind of application. I am quite familiar with this, but I just want this to now wire them up all of these concepts with his experience in mind.
So the WebSockets is the fastest way. How can we transfer the data between the server and the client? Mm-hmm. So the WebSockets is the duplex push technologies. It means that the client can push the data and the server. And the way it works is that the client sends the handshake request through the HTTP1, and the server sends the upgrade request. So a response. So it basically tells, okay, client, you can upgrade your protocol to TCP. So because the WebSockets use the HTTP connection just to establish the initial connection and upgrade, it's to TCP. And the communication that will be done after the upgrade header will be using the TCP instead of the HTTP. So all the client can HTTP. So all the client can push the data and the server can respond. But what are the problems though with the HTTP? So we'll be using the TCP instead of the HTTP.
This is quite interesting. How do we know? How we make sure? Okay, because this is a part of the anatomy. How that works? Like how that works? Okay. If you hear very strange sounds, don't panic. This is just my washing machine. Right now I'm doing laundry. I'm doing laundry. Okay, so WebSockets, how that works, because I have now a roughly idea, and here, if you want to be a professional in this area, you need to be aware. You need to have clarity in your ideas, right? So how that works? Let WebSockets in the end. Okay. WebSocket reference. There you got it. Let me see if they're going to explain now how that works. Okay. WebSocket API. So it makes possible to open a two-way interactive communication systems between a user's browser and the server. Interesting that it's a system, and if we remember about the OC model here, fairly quickly. So this is the way of how now different computers systems, regardless the architecture, AMD, Intel, whatever it be, regardless the way how they are organized to compute data, all right, we need to find a way to make them to exchange message data, right? So we need to is some sort of standard, open, please, interconnections. So that's why the OSI model stands for. This is an open standard interconnection, or open system interconnections that it was now the successor of the X25 during the protocol wars in the 60s, because a lot of these companies actually are creating their own. So not only companies but also government agencies is creating these protocols, and they want to, of course, dominate the market, right? So you can have is now proprietary switching package protocol, and this is very important as a way. This is a very interesting segue that I'm gonna do, right? Shout out to all of these sirs. Oh my god. Also a Chinese, Japanese, and of course North American. So is this packet switching, data communication. What does it mean, this packet switching? So it's a methods of grouping data into short message in a fixed format. So hey, let's going to now store this message here, chunk of them. Okay, let's going to group this data into. Let's go to group this data that we want to send. I was gonna say, hey, you want to send now a message to your mom, like asking, hey mom, can I borrow you 1K, please? For the end of the month, that'll be way much more common that we can see, right? So it's like that. It's like, hey mom, can I borrow you 1K for the month? Because I don't reach that. So if you want to send this message to your mom, right, over the internet, over this physical medium of the cables, so this packet switching protocol, it say, hey, good, right, now let's go to actually group that. So let's go to find a way, a methods to actually group that message into short message in a fixed format, known as package. So this message that you want to send, let's go to now group them into short message in a fixed format, okay? And then we're gonna send that through the network. So packages are made of a header and a payload, right? So similar as old car, in the era of cars, when you ask yourself, is that how, if you want to send a message, okay, how will you do that? So for example, if you want to send now a written letter to someone that is far away, So let's say you want to send a message to your mom. How will you do that? How will you indicate to whoever person you need to pass that letter that this is a message for your mom, and you need to identify where is she? Okay. So this is why we have this header or this metadata, and then the payload, right? So the data in the header is used by networking hardware to direct the package to this destination. It's like, hey, this metadata, this headers is indicating as to where it's going to where, which is the location, what is the receiver's location that are going to send this package, right? So data in the header is used by networking hardware, and in this case by all of this person that is going to pass that content along the way. In our case is hardware, which means is that it is very rare, unless they're being hacked, that they don't do what they are instructed. Okay. It's very hard that they don't do that, because they're just machines and they're just following his instructions. We are just telling to electrons how to behave. Period. Hey, electrons, I want you to behave in this way, in this fashion. So, it is used for all of the hardware to direct the package to the destination, where the payload is extracted and used by an operating systems or application software or higher layer protocols. Right? Packet switching is the primary base data communications in computer network. American engineer Paul Barron, American Jewish, man, the Jewish. It's interesting. I'm just gonna say that this is interesting. I'm just gonna say that it is quite interesting, and that's all. There is a lot of Jewish in computer science. a lot of Jewish, German. What about you? German, Polish. German is German, Polish. Breeding, of course. Most of the time there, right? This is quite interesting because holy moly, Paul Barron is known for the packet switching. Jesus, bro. And developed a concept he called distributed adaptive message block switching, with the goal of providing a fault tolerant, efficient routing method for telecommunication message, fault tolerance and efficient routing methods. Are you a mathematician? That kind of thing? I think you must have. He was one of the two independent inventors of packet switching, which is today the dominant basic of data communication in computer worldwide, and went on to start several companies and develop other technology that are essential part of modern digital communication. Holy moly. The IEEE, which is the Internet Institute of Electrical and Electronics. I'm not quite sure what is it. The Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers. Okay. From Graham Bell. Computer History Museum, Marconi Prize, National Medal Technology and Innovation. You say all of these medals is quite interesting, but the block message, exactly as suggests in Paul in 1964, it is quite interesting. You know what? Even though that this might looks quite complex, but in fact it's quite simple. What you can see here is just a bunch of rectangles, geometry, joined together, And then you put some now representation on top of that. This is what software engineers are actually doing behind the scenes. It's like we use geometry, especially engineering. We use geometry as a way to see how can we now solve a problem in the world. In any case, but the idea here is this. It's gonna put now some of this information, some headers, which is this start of the message, address, sender, handover, and then text and end of the message, right? And all of this is because it's sending is over the cable bit by bit. So this is a way of how you say, hey, this is the start of the message, and all of the information that it needs to actually reach to the destination. And then this is the actual data, and then this is the end of the message. Pretty much what we're doing is with encoding and decoding. There's a very interesting, challenging lead code. Okay. So after joining to the Rand Corporation in 1959, Barrack took a task of designing a survivable communication system that could maintain communications between endpoints in the face of damage from nuclear weapons. God damn. We're talking here also a psychological aspect here, is that we need for real to make these things work. For nuclear weapons during the Cold War, then most American military communication used high frequency connections, which could be put out of action for many hours by a nuclear attack. In high frequency connections, it means that they're using is radio. It means that they're using is radio. Exactly, band of radio. And in the face of some nuclear attack, yeah, there's a lot of noise to transmit that data. There is a lot of electrons or activity based on the radiation. Okay. So which could be put out of action in many hours. Barrett decided to automate Rand. Director Franklin Rudolph Colbo was American aviation engineer. Previous work with an emergency communication over conventional AM radio and showed that a distributed relay node architecture could be survivable. The ROM Air Development Center soon showed that idea was practical. Using the microcomputer technology of the day, Barron and his team developed a simulation suite to test basic connectivity of an array of nodes with varying degree of linking. That is, a network of n array degree of connectivity will have n links per node. The simulation randomly killed nodes and subsequently test the percentage of nodes that remain connected. The result of the simulation revealed a network in which at least three or more, has significant increase in resilience against even as much as 50% node loss. Against even as much as 50% node loss. Barring insights gained from the simulation was the redundancy was the key. His first work was published at Rad Reports and then selling the idea. Damn. And then not only that, based on similar to the ARPANET, which is the creation of the internet, and this military research that then, based on its practicality, can later become now is consumer products. Can later on becomes consumer products. Leonard Kleinrock, which is now a contemporary working on analysis message for using flow using queue theory, developed a theoretical basis for operational message switches network in his proposal for a PhD thesis in 1961 to published as a book in 1964. In early 1970, he applied this theory to a model that performed a packet switching network. However, the representation of Kleinrock early work as originating the concept of packet switching is disputed by other internet pioneers, including Robert Taylor. Barron and Davis. Barron and Davis are recognized by historians as U.S. National Inventors Hall of Fame for independently inventing the concept of digital packet switching using modern computer networking, including the internet. So, thanks to your work, my sir, thanks to your work, damn, some sweet packet switching, bro. That's what we need to take a look at. How do we get here? As a way to embrace complexity and understand that. But it's because they developed that. This packet switching in 1960. His idea contradicts the established principle of pre-allocation of network bandwidth, exemplified by the development of telecommunication in Bell system. The new concept found little resonance among network implementers until the independent work of Wells computer scientist Donald Davis at the National Laboratory in 1965. David coined the modern term package switching because this package is now switching from one device to another, and inspired numerous packet switching networks in the decade following, including the incorporation of the concept into the design of the ARPANET in the United States and Cyclades network in France. The ARPANET and Cyclades were the primary precursor network of modern internet. You barely hear about this. You barely hear about Cyclades. You barely hear about Cyclades. In any case, I don't want to dive deep too much in history. Okay, the ARPANET and Cyclades, sounds like some sort of ETS. ARPANET, not that much, but Cyclades is that sounds like an ETS. Some sort of new forms evolved from ETS. And then it's reorganized for that. Exactly, that's what it's called, is switch packaging. Is that now this message that you want to send to your mom asking for money because you have poor financial management skills that you need to improve. So that's why you send this message. Hey mom, can I borrow you 1K, 10K, 20K? You know? You miserable fuck. Anyway, is then how can we now send this message through all of these people, right? So the package switching made by Paul Barron and Donald Davis, that's quite interesting, man. That's why marketing that's why marketing, you like it or not, is crucial, and also a reason why I'm actually recording this kind of video, because if you don't improve your sales skills or your marketing skills in an area that you want to sell, no one's gonna do that for you, one, and second, people you wouldn't be able to communicate these complex ideas, my friend. And trust me that you need to do that, bro. Trust me. Trust me that you need to do that, right? Trust me that you need to do that. In any ways, but yeah, here's the thing. Here is the thing. You may wonder what you're doing. Right now, I am actually a bucket. I got a bucket of hot water and some of my white clothes, because I really love my white clothes to be clean as much as possible, to be uh, pristine, white pristine. I don't want a white pearl. I don't want white pearl t-shirts. Not at all. I want to be that glister or clean, it's white, clean, white paper, white paper, white paper. Anyway, but yeah, this is now an explanation of when we're talking about packet switching. So packet switching now is the foundation of this transfer protocol. All right. Or in this case, standard protocol for switch package for packet switching, data communication in wide areas. Right. So now this becomes an super functionality not found in the OC network layers. Right. So this is now how you can communicate is using. This is the standard. Okay, this is a standard for protocol suite of package switch. Again, very, very, very important. So this X25 that is now a standard of is in a standard protocol suite for packet switching. And the packet switching say, hey, if you want to send this message to your mom asking $10,000 asking for $10K, right? Because you can reach to the end of the month and you also need some expense and you are poor at financial management skills. Okay, if you want to send this message to them, how will you do that? So you need to, if you can imagine how you can send this message to your mom, all right, across all of these different persons until it reaches to that. So you need to know is, well, in the case, the address where she lives and some information related to who is sending this data or this message, and where is the location of the receiver, okay, among other data, but mainly this one. And you have to pass that of someone to trust until it reaches to your mom, right? So this, in terms of computers, each one of those nodes or each one of those person of trust, okay, or those persons along the way, if we're going to send this message, the idea here as a way to now send this in a fault tolerant and efficient way is by splitting this message into small single format package, right? That those message, right, can be sent, or those package can be sent across different nodes until it reaches the destination, right? And when they do that, now they recompose that for the proper message, and now it sends and I show that on the computer. So this is a very interesting thing, because this is now this is the pattern that we as an engineer, I will argue that all of engineer, but I will argue that we as a software engineer, even when we are young, we like to play with Lego. That's one of the reasons why Roblox is so famous, right? Roblox, Minecraft, Minecraft, all of this, because it allows us to build, which is something that is inherent in ourselves. Kids knows this, okay? So Roblox, this is interesting because it's pretty much like it's pretty much like Lego blocks. In fact, this is Lego blocks. Wait, what? You gotta be kidding me. New realistic Roblox in 2024. I mean, what?
Ever wanted to be a baddie in Roblox? Thick and curvy like Ice Spice. I got you. But before I show you guys, make sure to like and subscribe with notifications on so you never miss my videos. So we all know that Roblox now has 17 plus rated experiences and items, and that they're trying to make the platform for all ages, young and old. So today I'm gonna show you how to make a more mature avatar. First, search up anime doll in Marketplace.
We as humans, fair use. We as humans always seeking, always looking for these things that are prohibits, or for all of the things that make us feel
Find this one.
this.
It's 175 Robux, but it's worth. Let's get it. Now search up gym pants.
What the fringe?
Click this one.
Hands.
Go ahead and get it too.
Oh man.
Now go to the matching top. Go ahead and get this too.
Oh my
Now
god.
equip all of your new items. Change your skin tone to whatever you like. Now you can put these free Roblox shoes on to cover your dogs up. Also make sure to put a hair on. And now you've turned into a legit gym baddie in Roblox. Is this just too far? Because we have come a long way from simple bacons to full-on curvy avatars, and I don't know how I feel about it. I also made Ice Spice version, and again it just seems like it's not Roblox. Even myself, I turned into a baddie. What's your guys' opinion on this in Rob?
Oh my god. I just want to leave a comment here. Because I was brought here. I was brought here. Jesus. Jesus. Oh my god. I was brought here since I am recording myself learning about X25 protocol, a way of sending message in an efficient way across the internet, right? Just because we as child, we want to build stuff. So we as human, we want to build stuff just like kids. Just want to point it out as a way to recognize that we have more in common. Just to recognize that faculties have a lot in common. In any case, Jesus, Roblox and that kind of thing. Jesus, how do I get in here? All of us is this one. But in any case, so this is now this particular protocol standard suite of packet switching, right? That now, after the protocol war, where a lot of this company actually are competing against each other, so there were now a consent to say, hey, no. We need to make an standard, okay, to actually make all of these computation systems intercommunicate each other. So that's why we have now the OC model, all right, and this is now a more systematic way of how you're going to now transform the data that you want to send. Hey mom, please, can I borrow you 10K? All right, and then add series of informations along this data as a way to find its way through the network and finally reach to the destination. One. And if you want to establish now a real-time communication, there are also some information that you can add, which is in our case the reason why we're looking here at the WebSocket here. So now WebSockets here, it's say, hey, let me now allow you from the browser, these applications, these two-way interactive communications seasons between now the client and a server, right? The thing here is that how this work, you know, because we looked at now browsers provide is the socket interface and the WebsocketStream. The subtle difference is that WebSocket, even though that is stable, it doesn't support backpressure. It means that you don't have the ability to regulate is the data rate at which you are reading or writing. So it means that if your application can process or it is busy processing the data, it's going to fill up the device memory by buffering all of this message. And by buffering is that putting all of this message into this storage, okay, making now your CPU unresponsive to the 100 peak of this, right? So because now your processor needs to process the message as well as putting on the buffering, you know. So it's pretty much you can think of this like a bartender, right? When they ask by bartenders, or waiters, when they ask a lot of things, okay, from different tables. And they also have some of this. So and now all of this. So imagine that you imagine that a waiter is. Imagine that you have one single. Imagine that you are a waitress in a very high demand restaurant, but you are the only one. You have to handle is all of these 20 tables and all of the different orders, taking from each one of them. So as the people get in and get out, okay, you need to handle not only all of these orders, and also hearing is the cry of some of those families that come with children, and perhaps some of them want to smoke. So you actually need to make them that, hey, we don't allow this here. There is a sections out there, and then you suddenly need to go back to actually serve the order from table 3. You get busy, and there is no mechanism to regulate that. That's backpressure. So backpressure now with WebsocketStream, this is what allows. So this WebsocketStream say, hey, let's going to use now the promise base. Let's go now to use this particularly pattern when we need to deal with concurrency, which is task that happens, which is when a task that overlaps in times. Okay, so for example, in the case of the waitress or the waiter, in this particular pattern is known as promise. In the context here of applications, this particular pattern is now the promise. And the promise is now using is other patterns, so for example like thunks and callbacks, all right, as a way to say, hey, this set of instruction that I need to do, which means is that in the context of the waiters, hey, if I going to now attend to table 10, 20, all right, and also attend table 19, but then suddenly, while doing that, I need to actually serve the order from table 15 because it is ready. So how can I deal with these things that happen in asynchronous? How can I deal with all of this concurrency, this task that I have a particular way to do this? Okay, I have an intent to attend table 20 and then 18, but suddenly now I got this as a high priority. Hey, the dishes from table 18 is ready, right? You know, we need to find a mechanism to that. Most of waiters or people that actually handle with a lot of this concurrency, I will say, is on the customer service most of the time. So all these people that have to deal with this, they're very good at doing that. And of course, they don't explain you how they do. They just actually figuring out particular way of how they can do that. And this is pretty much a good example of what backpressure is in this WebSocketStream, which now allows to do that. Have a mechanism that automatically handles backpressure for us. Okay. As a way to avoid any bottlenecks when reading or writing our applications. So this is very, very interesting. And this is also promise-based. Promise-based means that is this particular concurring task that I need to do, or this concurring task, concurring instructions that I need to do, this set of instructions that I need to do at some point in the future, but suddenly life happens. So this is now promise-based, which is the way how we handle this concurrency, asynchronicity in the context of the JavaScript using promise. And streams is like, hey, okay, now that I have to handle all of this async operations, I need to find a way to regulate that, at which rates this data flow, at which rate can I handle that. Okay, very, very good. Not only that, but also we have is this web transport API, which is a low-level API that provides backpressure and many other features that are not provided or supported by WebsocketStream, such as unidirectional stream, interesting, out of order delivery, okay, and unreliable data transmission via datagrams. If you remember, WebSocket actually now is going to show this. So WebSocket actually is part of the. Let me actually show that graphic. So WebSockets are part of the HTTP 1 protocol, where the idea here is that to establish this two-way communication, two-way interactive communication between the client and the server, and it's based on connection. It is based on TCP, which is connection based, right? So because of that, and the way how now this connection based work is that first you need to do a handshake, and this handshake is this three-way handshake, which is the client say a sync. Once the server receive that package and they say, okay, now send a sync to the client, it navigates through all of this hardware across the network, all of this router, you receive that, and then all right, now let me actually send and acknowledge to the server the package. So now after that, the communication can start. If you want to secure the channel, because all the data that is transmitted is in plain text, you can now use this TLS negotiation, which is transport security layer, as a way to say, hey, which is the protocols, which is the cipher that we're gonna use? Is asynchronous encryptions, public key, public and private key. Let's going to use is the Diffie-Hellman algorithm. So let me actually see. Yeah, we're gonna use is the Diffie-Hellman algorithm or the RSA, or we're gonna use is now data encryption, which is hey, this data is gonna be encrypted, and we're gonna use is now the SHA. We're gonna use is the EAS, which is a key length 120, 128, 192, or 256, or the cha-cha-cha algorithm for high-speed encryption. But again, it's the symmetric encryption or the asymmetric encryption. Or we're gonna hash this algorithm, right? Giving a certain input, we're gonna transform that to actually get the same output. So given this particular input and some salt, all right, or some way to actually generate this particular function that is shared on the client and on the server. Now when the message is sent, it will have the ability to encrypt and decrypt, and so on and so forth. So this is very, very interesting. Yeah, absolutely. So all right, good, Jesus, we take a huge tangent here, but a huge tangent here. Yeah, we take a huge tangent here. Okay. All right. Okay. So we're gonna take a look now at the web transport is more complex than use WebSocket, and it is cross-browser support is not as wide, but it enables the implementation of sophisticated solutions. If standard WebSocket connections are a good fit, you can use that. The thing is that, all right, so now that we know what are the features that the web API exposed to us, as well as its trade-off, okay, the question is, all right, how does it work, bro? How does it work? How does it work? And there are, of course, some other libraries out there as a way to guarantee this real-time communication. Yeah, but the question is that how that work? PHP WebSocket server, normal sockets, Gorilla WebSocket is a Go implementation, Flash, Phoenix. Again, how that works, bro? Writing WebSocket client applications. Exactly, but this is now getting to this. Writing client applications. This will automatically attempt to open a connection to the server, and then the server. JavaScript now is using Dino. What? Interesting. Okay. Okay. Well, writing WebSocket clients applications, and there you go. Okay. Good. Okay. So creating a WebSocket object. In order to communicate using a WebSocket protocol, you need to create a WebSocket object. This will automatically attempt to open a connection to the server. However, remember, if you're using WebSockets, WebsocketStream, there's a lot of difference. You also have the ability to use WebSocket web transport API, okay, that provides more benefits. but it's quite complex to work with. The question is, this Web Transport API interesting. Web Transport provides a modern update to WebSocket, transmitting data between client and server using HTTP transport. This is now how you can update this. Okay. So you can also use now is web transport. So okay. So web transport sit below HTTP 3. Very, very, very interesting. Okay. Interesting. Good. Perfect. Interesting. And I think this distinction is quite interesting because Web Transport API is not connection based, right? It's come from the UDP. So Web Transport provides support for multiple streams. Interesting. Unidirectional stream and out of order delivery. It enables reliable transport via streams and unreliable transport via UDP like. Exactly. HTTP 3 has been in progress since 2018 and it is based on Google Quick Protocol, which is itself based on UDP, and fixed several issues around the classic TCP protocols on which HTTP and WebSockets are based. Head of line blocking. HTTP 2 allows multiplexing. Exactly. So a single connection can have can stream multiple resources simultaneously. Exactly. So HTTP 2 allows multiplexing, so a single connection can stream multiple resources simultaneously. However, if a single resource fails, all other resources on that connections are held up until any missing package is retransmitted. Interesting. So if one of those resources fails, all other resources on that connections are held up until any missing package are retransmitted. Okay. With Quick, only the failing resource is affected. Fast. Okay, so you have now more fine control about the failure. Okay, more fault tolerance of the streams that you are of the resource. Exactly. More fault tolerance streams over the resource that you are transmitting over a single connection. Faster performance. Quick is more performant than TCP in many ways. Quick can handle security features by itself rather than handle the responsibility off to other protocols like TLS, meaning fewer round trips. And the streams provide better transport efficiency. And the stream provide better transport efficiency that older package manifest. So is now Quick is secure by default. And since it doesn't rely on TCP, on this handshake, alright, it's faster. Better network transition. Quick use a unique connection ID to handle the source and the destination of each request. So it is not connection based. It is connection. It is stateful. To ensure that packages are delivered correctly, this ID can persist between different networks. Meaning that, for example, a download can continue without getting interrupted if you switch from Wi-Fi to a mobile network. HTTP 2, on the other hand, use IP address as an identifier. So network transitions can be problematic. Which is exactly, and I get it why when I try to send some data to that. I get it. Mhm.
Buen día, hermano, ¿cómo estás? ¿Todo bien? ¿No? ¿En qué queda este tipo de seguridad? Tengo un correo supuestamente de que escribir y vainas, pero no me contestaron. Mandé como 3 y no me contestaron. Entonces, no tengo idea.
Okay, interesting. All right, better network transition and unreliable transport. So, okay, so well, that'll be all for this video. All right, take care. Bye bye.